Welcome to Psychonaut, where we journey into the depths of the human mind. If you've ever felt like your thoughts are too heavy for casual conversations, or that the more you understand people, the more isolated you feel, this video is for you. At first glance, intelligence and loneliness may seem unrelated, even contradictory. After all, wouldn't being intelligent help us connect better, navigate social settings more easily, and avoid loneliness altogether? But reality tells a different story. Many highly intelligent people report persistent feelings of loneliness, emotional distance, or even alienation. Not because they're antisocial, but because their depth of thought and perception often separates them from the crowd. This loneliness doesn't stem from a lack of social interaction, but from a lack of meaningful connection. Intelligent minds tend to notice what others overlook. They observe social nuances, understand unspoken emotions, and recognize behavioral patterns. They analyze conversations, detect inconsistencies, and reflect deeply on motives, both theirs and others. This heightened awareness can be emotionally exhausting. When you're able to see through things, it becomes harder to simply enjoy them at face value. What others brush off as normal, the intelligent mind may interpret as inauthentic, manipulative, or shallow. And this distance in perception builds walls, not because of arrogance, but because of a quiet, aching mismatch in depth. Highly intelligent individuals often fall into the trap of overanalyzing their relationships. A single word, gesture, or change in tone can trigger a spiral of thoughts. Did I say too much? Do they really mean that? Am I too much for them? This constant internal dialogue can hinder vulnerability. Instead of expressing themselves freely, they retreat into analysis. Instead of reaching out, they calculate the risks. Over time, they become emotionally isolated. Not due to lack of people, but because they don't feel safe being truly seen. Emotional intelligence, the ability to perceive, interpret, and manage emotions, should be a bridge between people. But when this ability is highly developed, it can paradoxically deepen the sense of loneliness. Why? Because the emotionally intelligent person often becomes the safe space for others, the listener, the healer, the one who understands. But who understands them? When you're attuned to everyone else's needs, but rarely met with the same level of understanding, it creates an emotional asymmetry. You become indispensable, yet emotionally invisible. This is the silent wound of many emotionally intelligent individuals. They carry the emotional weight of others, while hiding their own loneliness under a smile of competence. We live in a world that celebrates charisma over character, small talk over substance, and productivity over presence. Intelligent people, especially those who are introspective, often crave conversations that go beneath the surface. They long for authentic connection, intellectual stimulation, and emotional honesty. But most daily interactions don't reach that depth. They skim the surface, revolve around trends, gossip, or performative validation. Over time, this disconnect creates emotional hunger, not for people, but for realness. And the more rare that realness becomes, the lonelier the intelligent soul feels. One of the deepest fears of an intelligent person is not being liked, but being misunderstood. They may censor themselves, simplify their ideas, or withdraw from discussions because they've learned that their thoughts are too much, too intense, or too complicated for others to relate to. They shrink themselves to fit in, even when their minds are bursting with questions, ideas, and insights. This self-silencing reinforces loneliness, because if no one knows the real you, how can you ever feel truly connected? Intelligent individuals tend to be highly selective in relationships, not out of superiority, but because they value depth, trust, and alignment. They seek friends and partners who challenge them intellectually, respect their boundaries, and share their curiosity. But finding such people is rare. So instead of forcing connections that feel draining or shallow, they often choose solitude. It's not that they don't want company. They just don't want the kind of company that leaves them feeling more alone than when they're by themselves. This preference for solitude is often misunderstood as aloofness, further isolating them from potential connection. For some, loneliness isn't just social, it's existential. Intelligent people are often drawn to big questions. Why are we here? What does it all mean? Is anyone else feeling this way? They ponder mortality, morality, meaning, and these reflections, while beautiful, can be isolating. Not everyone wants to sit with the discomfort of uncertainty, or engage in philosophical conversations about impermanence or consciousness. This existential loneliness isn't solved by more company. It's only eased by finding others who feel deeply, think deeply, and dare to question. Yes, but not through pretending to be someone else. Healing begins when intelligent people stop shrinking their minds to fit in, and instead seek spaces where their depth is welcome. It means taking the risk to be vulnerable, even when the world feels shallow. It means building relationships, not on frequency, but on resonance. Finding your people, those who understand without judgment, who celebrate complexity instead of avoiding it, is rare, but not impossible. It also means recognizing that solitude isn't failure. For the intelligent mind, it's often a sanctuary, a place of creativity, reflection, and rest. The loneliness of intelligence isn't a flaw. It's a sign of depth in a world addicted to distractions. But connection is still possible, not when you dilute your thoughts, but when you find those who match your wavelength. When you allow yourself to be seen not just as the smart one, but as someone who also longs, aches, and dreams. Because in the end, we are not just minds, we are hearts. And even the brightest minds crave the warmth of being known. If this spoke to something deep within you, you're not alone. There are more of us, seekers, feelers, thinkers, than you might realize. If you'd like to continue exploring the depths of the human mind and emotions, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need it. This is Psychonaut. Until next time, take care of your inner world.